sorry, I should have got it. Do you see the red roll of tape?
Yeah, the red tape?
If you don't see it, I'll grab it. I might have put it away.
Yeah.
Okay, if you drop that, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, you might be able to tell I haven't done it since last season. But doing more netball, actually. But yeah, I think like yourself, bit of a mix.
Sorry about that, lads. Sorry.
One, two, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Good afternoon and welcome to Churchill Reserve on Fox Street for this afternoon's game between St Albans
And welcome to a sunny Sunday afternoon in St Albans where Dynamo take on South Melbourne. This is NPL Victoria, round 13, the final game of the round. Cave Lucas and Katie Lambeski with you on YouTube. And it is two teams from either end of the table. South Melbourne looking to go back on top after yesterday's victories by Heidelberg and Avondale, whilst St Albans, the home side, looking to keep themselves off the bottom with Moreland City getting their first win of the season yesterday. These two teams have played 7 times in the NPL era, and it's 7-0 in favour of South Melbourne. St Albans haven't got so much as a point off the Lakers in that time. Katie, it's probably unlikely that's going to happen today, but we'll wait and see.
Quite the record, quite the record. Fearsome start at that. And good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Kate, as well. Big week of change as well, it must be noted, for Dynamo. Of course, Cam Watson and Billy Selesky taking over the senior coaching roles so far. But
an early effort here from St Albans, and they've scored within seconds. Oh, they couldn't have wished for a better start than that. It's Alan Jerez. And the Cameron Watson era here at Churchill Reserve is off with a bang.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Here we are, barely any time to breathe and get set up here. And Alan Jerez wasting little time introducing himself to the new coaching staff here. Unbelievable start, and that's the start that they needed. That is what they needed straight out of the box. A quick start. Couldn't afford themselves to fall back early on against the South Melbourne side. And that is an absolute sting in the tail early on, Cade.
Well, South Melbourne won't know what's hit them. They've hardly conceded any goals this season at all, let alone against St Albans, who haven't been scoring very many. But Alan Jerez has got his second of the year, and Dynamo are in front. St Albans have to regain their equilibrium here. They're going to the left of your screen. They're in the white. St Albans Dynamo in the blue with white trim. We'll go through the starting lineups with you in a moment when things settle down here. It's a pretty frenetic start, as you could understand. And that's blocked there out of play by Diven for St Albans. The throw here for South Melbourne right below us. Flicked on by Sawyer. And now Nahul Bernarda trying to get him behind. And the referee, Noah Langarak, belatedly blows the whistle, and it is a free kick.
Quick start, isn't it? Both of these sides wasting a little time and trying to get on the front foot and trying to get the game played in their half. Of course, that long throw down the line with Lampard really starting to bring that move a little bit more to the fore, and then you had Bernarda's work there too. So that's classic South style under Esteban Quintas. So it's an important set piece already in the context of this game. Marko Bulic in goal, just organising his charges in front of him. We'll see what can come of this. I think it's Payos to take.
So the free kick here for South. Can they get back on level terms? Seconds after going behind, it's to the back post. And Bulic came out to meet it, not all that convincingly, and has conceded a corner. So they might be in front of the scoreboard, but they're certainly on the back foot in general play here at St Albans.
Absolutely. Just it was a little bit shaky there, and I think the coaching staff have recognised that. Billy Selesky just quickly trying to get that team, get his charges organised. Concentrate is now the call. A repeat set piece here for South. Payos again.
And it comes to the near post and flicked on there by Jake Marshall. And it's come off a South player last, so some respite here for Dynamo. It'll be Marko Bulic with the goal kick. So it's Bulic in goal. Hodder, Jerez the goal scorer, Summer Skills, Scott Bakor, Zulfi Nazari, Joseph Monik, Michael Gergic, Josh Diven, Max King and James Rico-Bene, the starting 11 for Dynamo. Harvey Lopez, Jordan Lampard, Jake Marshall, Mario Barcia, Harrison Sawyer up top as they come forward here against South Melbourne. And it is Sawyer, the leading goal scorer in the comp. Wasn't far away from getting his team back on level terms there. And it will be another goal kick for Marko Bulic. It's been an action-packed first few minutes here at Churchill Reserve.
Lightning pace so far in this game. Just a really quick up-tempo. Dynamo living a little bit dangerously there in Bernarda, just as he so often does with his work off the ball. Just tries to force the issue, tries to press up ahead. Hodor now just try to get a bit more of a spell of possession here for Dynamo.
Here's Nazari. We're right on top of the action here at Churchill Reserve. They've given the ball away cheaply there, and it's a long throw into the area for South, and Sawyer trying to wriggle his way in behind, goes to ground the big fella. I mentioned he's in the starting lineup, of course, and the captain of South, Emil Payos, Connor Halfpenny, Max Mikola, Morgan Evans, Nahul Bernarda and Jack Painter-Andrews, the rest of the starting lineup for Esteban Quintes's men, who won't have found themselves in this situation too often this season or for a number of seasons.
Exactly right. Not a position they'd be all too familiar with, and they're wanting to get back on the front foot here. They've taken that early blow. Looks to be like Summerskill and Nazari will be that midfield pairing, both quite technical, quality type of players who can play through the middle. So I guess the key for South is to shut them down and not to allow that level of creativity, not allow that movement to generate for Dynamo.
Long ball in behind here by Gergic, and it's all the way back to Harvey Lopez. That's a lovely turn in midfield there, and South momentarily were on the front foot. It was Emil Payos with the lovely move there, but St Albans managed to put it out of play right on halfway. Good crowd in here at Churchill Reserve. Beautiful conditions for football. And those who have rolled up have already gotten their money's worth. And there's still the best part of 90 minutes to go as South go in search of an equaliser here. Gergic puts that straight up and down the chimney. And now Bulic has to come out and knock it away, and has collected Gergic in the process. A bit of Keystone Cops defending there by the home side.
Yeah, good call on that, Kate. Ultimately, Dinamo too loose on their marking there, and just that allowed that move to generate a little bit too freely, I think, for their liking. Harrison Sawyer is going to feast off that if you allow him to, so you just need to tighten that up and keep that absolutely certain. Now keep it compact, I think, for large parts of this game. They now have a lead to rest on. And Gergic a little bit worse for wear here, the captain, of course, of Dinamo.
Yes, Michael Gergic doesn't have much protection in the way of hair on the back of that head, so probably would have hurt a bit more than usual, speaking from experience. And Max Mikola, who is the expert with long throws in the NPL, is the man who will deliver it in, but he's just having to cool his heels a bit while the Dinamo veteran Gergic gets some treatment.
Of course, a lot will fall on Gergic and Rico Bennett to keep this team organised, such as the leadership that they can provide and the experience that they can provide. It'll be a blow to lose him early, but I think he should enter the fray very quickly as Mikola gets set to launch this one into the stratosphere.
So St Albans momentarily down to 10 men as Mikola sends it right into the hot spot. Bullich got it away, but not convincingly. And now it's in the back of the net, but will it stand? Noah Langarak is there. South is celebrating. And it looks like it is a goal. So South Melbourne's time in arrears isn't a long one, and they are back on level terms in a helter-skelter first 10 minutes here at Churchill Reserve.
Just another sting there, that long throw again working wonders. Granted, I know it was half clear to just put the defence under some serious pressure, as the South so often do, just utilising that airspace to their absolute advantage. They have the structure to do it. Pretty, absolutely not. Effective, absolutely yes. So parity is restored here at Churchill Reserve.
Well, I was a bit confused there. I thought maybe there had been a foul. The whistle was blown, and I'm not exactly sure who got that headed goal, but either way, we are back on level terms. Do our best to find the identity of the goal scorer as we go on here, but the important fact is that we're back on level terms. If you've just joined us, stay with us. It has been an action-packed opening here. Certainly not reflecting the difference in the table. There's more than 20 points separating these two sides. Could be over 20 points by the end of this game, with South looking to go back on top. They're equal on points with Heidelberg and Avondale, who are above them, but they've played a game more.
I mean, if you looked at this game on paper, you think South have this one wrapped up long in advance, but they should rightly be the favourites coming into today. But again, Dinamo have to have the attitude that, okay, they have the assets and the resources that we don't. But let's get on the line. Let's cross that white line and let's see how it all shakes out. Let's see how it all plays out. There's that mentality I think is going to matter so much. And particularly when you have a point to prove, new coaches coming in, getting used to the setup and getting a first proper look at their players in a competitive setting, it matters a lot. So you're seeing this play out. You're seeing this play out in real time in a real chaotic kind of way, if you will. As Southwest look to press here.
Here's Bullich. Sawyer almost closing him down as they work it down the grandstand side. Here's some pace from Monek, the veteran, Joseph Monek. Mikola arrives in midfield for South to win it back. Bullich well off his line. Painter Andrews hoofing it back the other way. A bit of agricultural football from both teams. Lovely control there by Sawyer. Jordan Lampard with a long effort. Bullich had his heart in his mouth there for a moment as the former Green Gully player from just down the road very nearly embarrassed his former near neighbours, Katie.
There is a Green Gully connection so far this afternoon as well. Bernardo and Jerez, former Gully teammates, of course, representing their respective clubs, South and Dinamo. Too loose in possession here, South up to pounce.
Sawyer, look for the cross, it's blocked. Just mentioned Green Gully, they played St Albans last weekend and had a 4-0 win in the Sunshine Drive Derby, Sunshine Avenue Derby. And South Melbourne had a rare defeat against Avondale at Lakeside, so They're back on level terms now, but they were briefly staring down the barrel of consecutive defeats, which is very rare indeed. Still, of course, is a possibility as Mikola has the long throw from the far side. And it's out for another corner. Again, Bullich, he's not the tallest of keepers, and he does look a bit suspect dealing with the aerial threat of the visitors. Plenty of tall timber up there for South. As another cross comes in and it's flicked on and into the outstretched palms of Bullich on this occasion. And Dynamo gets some respite. Bustling their way up the pitch here, and that's a pretty cynical foul. And the locals are not impressed. Scott Bacor was the player who was infringed upon.
Got to be worth a card, surely. Surely, I do not think there will be a yellow card shown here. There'll be a bit of a conversation with the ref, but nothing doing as far as Noah Langerak is concerned here. They'll get the game going back underway here, Dynamo.
I can only assume that maybe Noah Langerak didn't want to reach for his pocket too early in the game, but that looked a pretty stone-cold yellow. Certainly the fans just to our left here at Churchill Reserve thought so. Sawyer flicking it on. And now Bernardo, the Argentine, trying to wriggle his way in behind the two top scorers for South this season. Sawyer with 12 in 11 games. The only player in double figures in the competition. Bernardo has 6. Ross Archibald is not out there today. He's got 3. 3 is the only number as Bullich nearly messes up at the back. And then he clatters into the South player trying to knock it in. And what's happening here? Are we going to the spot? It looks like Marco Bullich has just gotten away with that one. But only just, Katie.
And that's where South excel. That's where they just win that territory battle. Go long, go high, go quick and aggressive and direct as much as you possibly can. And that's where they put the pressure on through Sawyer and Bernardo. You just see that in spades there. But that's a let-off. That's a let-off for Dynamo. They need to just get a decent spell of possession here and to get into a groove, get into a rhythm. Try to find their ball players in Nazari and Summerskill. Try to feed it through to Divan up top leading the line. You've got the organisation of Gergic there. So they have, I think they have the skills. They have the players to cause some serious trouble here for South. But how that plays out is going to be up to them. It's a good move forming here.
Bacor. Now Gergic has recovered. His bald head glistening in the afternoon sun here. Now Nazari, the Afghan international. Pass was just a little too hot for his teammate in Hodor.
Yeah, Hodor and Bernardo, just that contest coming together. You think they'd have each other's company for most of this afternoon. You can see Bernardo switching wings every now and then, so just that fluid movement of South, I think, has to take effect. Just trying to cause that overload. Mikola, of course, coming onto the broadcast wing here, trying to link up with Sawyer and Bernardo, just really trying to put them back, put Dynamo back on their heels, and they'll look to do it again as well with this throw.
Mikola, this is the ideal scenario for him. It's one of these deliveries from this sort of area that led to South's equaliser. Can it lead to a goal to put them in front? It's again right on the 6-yard box. Gergic just got his brow to it. Painter Andrews happy to see it out of play. It's going to be another corner. Sawyer's up there. So too Halfpenny. Marshall, plenty of targets. And now a flying shot there by Painter Andrews. He was always asking a bit too much, and that's gone into the backyard of the neighbours.
It has an unwanted guest, I think, for that neighbour. Hopefully no broken windows, I hope. But
I'm sure the people living next to Churchill Reserve have had to fetch more than their share of footballs out of the backyard and off their roofs over the years. They're probably used to it.
As a kid, I would have loved it. I wouldn't have thrown any of the balls back, honestly. You mentioned Cooper Halfpenny, though, like lurking at that set piece. Been quite impressed by his by his input and by his adjusting to this South setup so early on in his career. He's only got his first start a few weeks ago in this season. Earlier on, I think he's, in terms of midfield, reads the play quite smartly. Is another shield in defence where needed too. So big ups to him in his journey here. He's in the thick of it and winning back possession for his team.
And here comes South through Payos, and that's a good ball across. Bernarda trying to ghost in. Good last-ditch defending by Hoddle for Dynamo. And Bakor just got a bit overexcited there and clattered into an opponent, giving away a free kick. There's the aforementioned Halfpenny. He takes it South going forward at will now, and here's Mikola. Couldn't really get much purchase on the shot, but he's hurt himself in the process. Max Mikola. On the follow through, I think he must have hit the boot of an opponent, and he's in a bit of pain here.
The sound just on calf, bone on bone, just colliding there. And I think Mikola copped the worst of that in that scuffle as he took the shot on the way out. Couldn't quite get full purchase of it, but that's because he was marked into it there. It'll be a big blow for South if he can't continue here. In quite a bit of pain.
So the physio's out from Mikola, and that gives the other players an opportunity to have a well-earned drink. It's fairly warm and sunny here, and as you could tell by watching it, it's been a helter-skelter first stanza of this game. A goal after barely 60 seconds. We don't know the exact time of the opening goal, but it must have been within the first minute. And then the equaliser came not too long after.
Alan Jerez, of course, opening the scoring with that opportunistic, with Dynamo just going long early on from the kickoff, and were able just to wreak havoc on the South defence, and Jerez got on the end of that. Of course, South not too long after, just before the 10-minute mark, for restoring parity in this game, just through a set-piece scrap. We're just double-checking or trying to confirm who the scorer of that. We lost it in the sunlight there in the scuffle as Mikola limps his way to the bench here.
This doesn't look good for Max Mikola. Looks like it could be an early end to his afternoon.
Agim Sherifowski and Esteban Quintas on the touchline, just in some deep conversation there. They're looking to see, they might be looking to ready a replacement here.
Yes. Nahul Bernarda has been credited with the South goal, so that would be his 7th of the season, coming after 8 minutes, cancelling out Alan Jerez's opener, which happened after about 60 seconds. So Mikola's off below us. South down to 10 momentarily as we get back underway. Sawyer to no one in particular. Monek will be first there. He might be happy to see it out of play, the veteran. No. It's all the way back to Bullich. To Monek, who just shrugs off an opponent. Nothing doing, though, for St Albans, who've barely been in the South half after that opening goal. Monek, the veteran, with the throw. Record appearance maker for St Albans Dynamo. We mentioned earlier that they've met 7 times and it's 7-0 in favour of St Albans. Joseph Monick and probably Michael Gergich too would have been included in most of those defeats, if not all. Still the opportunity to make some history today and maybe get a point off South, if not all 3 for the very first time. Still a long way to go though, and South have got it at the right end of the pitch here. It's Sawyer, plenty of blue shirts around him though. And Dynamo will come away. Bakor, is there anyone there to help him out?
Of course, Mario Garcia forcing the issue there on the turnover deep in attack for South. Such a smart reader of the play. He'll, of course, be the midfield partner alongside Halfpenny through the middle. But he's such a smart player, reads the play well, aggressive in the tackle, aggressive in the challenges. So well-rounded midfielder, one of the best going around in the competition.
Especially today with no Ross Archibald in there, so a bit of extra responsibility on Mario Garcia's shoulders, but none that he isn't capable of handling, as it was Diven who wore one right in front of us. He's just shaking it off. Josh Diven got one in the mush from Jordan Lampard. Here's Marshall, totemic figure at the back for South. Long crossfield ball. Bernardo, the goal scorer, the target. And he flicks it back. Lampard not quite there in time, but back towards Bernardo. They're building here, the visitors. Gergich there to intercept for Dynamo, but it's coming back. Easy one for Marko Bulic. He's had some difficult moments already in this game, but that wasn't one of them. Here's Lampard. Mikola, who's back on the field and back at his best as Sawyer sends a ball across. And coming in late there was Emil Payos, and that was very nearly a brilliant goal to put them in front. Emil Payos just couldn't quite connect, Katie.
That's right, but not for lack of trying. That's for certain. Brilliant move. Mikola making that happen just with that flick. Finding Sawyer, just the big names of South really combining there. Lampard, Bernardo, Sawyer, Mikola. Again, when they get connecting like that, it's very, very hard to stop.
So it's fair to say Max Mikola has recovered from that knock. Gergich out towards Bakor, hustling down the channel. He's got Morgan Evans in front of him, but it's out for a throw rather. This is as far forward as St Albans have been since the opening goal in the opening seconds. Adam Hoddle will take it. Diven's up there, Bakor as well. Jerez the goal scorer. They're not a big team, St Albans, certainly compared to South Melbourne. They don't have the likes of Sawyer or Marshall, Halfpenny, who are real aerial threats. Hoddle with the long ball. Summerskill. Claims of a penalty possibly there. Bakor's got his arms outstretched. He can't believe there's not at least a foul. Dynamo still have it through Diven. Oh, that's a tricky ball. Harvey Lopez was onto it though.
Diven, Bakor, King, as well as Jerez proving to be the front four for this afternoon for Dynamo, of course. Haven't had enough of the opportunities that they would like, but you can see that they could be a real tricky unit to go across. Jerez looking to press here, and that's a big challenge there.
Yes, Marshall and Jerez coming together. Both have gotten up and continuing on as it's back down in south part of the field, where it has been for most of this game. Sawyer and Gergich. Payos. And Looks like Payos got the last touch, so it is a Dynamo free kick. Approaching the halfway mark of this first half. Kate Lucas and Katie Lambeski with you on YouTube. If you've just joined us, you've missed more than your fair share of action in the opening stanza. Dynamo going in front, shocking South Melbourne virtually straight from the kickoff through Alan Jerez, before South got back on level terms about 10 minutes later through Nuhul Bernarda. And that's where it sits, 1-1 between the team currently third on the ladder, looking to go back top, and Dynamo St Albans, who are currently second last.
It's okay.
South have won 9 times from 12 games this season. St Albans just 2 wins from 12 games. Much more competitive than that record would suggest, though, so far. Here's Sawyer, though, looking to put his side in front for the first time, and a shot from distance there by Barcia. He was biting off a bit more than he could chew, the midfielder.
Especially when you got Mikola there right next to you, just try and take the ball, take a touch, and then try to play him in, and rather not blaze away off the shot. It's no good. South just trying to bang their head up against that Dynamo brick wall that they've put up. I think they need to be a bit more, take it slower, go backward if you need to, just try to cycle possession from that point onward. As Dynamo are trying to here, just going across their back forward and just looking to go long, exploit that diagonal ball.
Lampard with a good win here, and now it's Bernarda on towards Mikola. Mikola, deflected shot. Summerskill will get it away for Dynamo, but there's nobody home. And now it's going to be a free kick for Dynamo.
And Dynamo approaching this with the right spirit, it has to be said. Been competitive in this game, even going ahead, but now the challenge right back on them. They need to find a way to play through to Diven a bit more. He has the size, he has the build, try to be a focal point up the top. He's played more of a wing role. I'd like to see him try to switch more into the centre as best as possible, but
the Dynamo Ultras near us are getting the chance going, echoing around the neighbourhood here in St Albans. Mikola goes to ground. Puts a bit of theatrics on top just for dramatic effect. It's a free kick for South.
The call there from the bench is more options. From the Dynamo bench there, Watson and Sliski looking to have more options on the ball, particularly for Diven and Bakor whenever they get in possession. No use in them trying to hold up the ball when there's not enough runs and movement off it. That's where your Jerez and King need to have a bit more of a say, but they've been kept busy in defence, especially Monek here.
Oh, that's a risky back pass by Nazari, and it's gone in for a second goal to South Melbourne and a second for Nuhul Bernarda. And after going behind in the opening seconds, South Melbourne back where they will feel they belong, on top. They lead by 2-1 at Churchill Avenue.
A self-inflicted blow there, it has to be said for Dynamo. They just get caught, pinned back in their half, and South are going to poach on. We know what he brings as a skilled player, but there's no denying work rate, and that is the result. One of the best going around in this competition today, and he does exceptionally well there, and he loves a goal. 2-1 here for South Melbourne.
Well, neither goal is going to feature on too many highlight packages. They were probably more to do with Dynamo mistakes rather than any brilliance from South, but Nuhul Bernarda and the rest of the South Melbourne team won't care. As things stand, they're going back to the top of the table. And suddenly that opening goal for St Albans seems a very long time ago. No free kick given away here by Dynamo. It's Monek who will come away. And Jerez, who scored that opening goal, can't keep it in. Monek with the throw. This was Zelfi Nazari with that ill-advised back pass. Michael Grigic couldn't reach it, and Bernarda just toe-poked it into the open net. Not a great goal by any measure, but it's what teams like South Melbourne do. Scoring any which way. Great goals or not so great goals. And here's Sawyer, who's sent flying and then looks at the referee who tells him to get up. Halfpenny. Now Evans. Starting to look very comfortable here, South. As Sawyer gives a bit back to Hodor, who sent him flying moments earlier. Fair to say the South bench not impressed with the referee's calls in those two incidents.
And the assistant referee equally is unimpressed by the South response as well. All happening on the touchline in front of us. And that's the thing, it can be a hot-tempered kind of game at times, but both of these sides just have to try to stay in the moment as best as possible. That includes even in contentious calls like that. Referees have a difficult enough job as it is, but nevertheless, Nazari to get a Dynamo move underway here.
There's plenty of feeling in this one. More than you would expect for where they are on the ladder and the respective histories. Referee Noah Langerak has had a very busy half, and the second is probably not going to be much different. It's Evans with the free kick here for South.
I know we've spoken about some of the errors from Dynamo, but that again, that tells you the pressure that South have provided and even the perceived pressure that South have put on. And that's exactly where they excel in work rate. Bernarda here trying to make it happen again.
Dual goal scorer just over hitting that cross. They do keep it in here, South, only momentarily.
Could even make the argument that there is no better team at exploiting teams' mistakes than South Melbourne is. When they're on top and they see an opportunity, and they know that. Again, it's just, I think it's an elite mentality for as long as they've been on top. Again, this is where they thrive, these set pieces, these long throws, these aerial attacks, that they just build that pressure and build until the team eventually breaks. That's going to be the key for Dynamo here, staying compact and staying level here and staying organised at the set piece.
Here's Mikola. Again, it's into the 6-yard box. Bulic can't quite reach it. Payos. Back to Mikola. We'll look to deliver it by foot this time. Marshall there. And that was always going wide. They're a difficult team to deal with from set pieces anytime, South, but especially against an opponent like Dynamo, who, as I mentioned, are not a big team. And their keeper, Bulic, is one of the shorter players on the field. So it's almost like it's the worst of both worlds here for St Albans. Bit of consternation again here as to who that last touch was off. Pretty clearly that it was a South ball, and Mikola's getting on with it. Sawyer chesting it down. And still he's going. Sawyer, danger again for Dynamo. Sawyer across. On the turn, Payos just had a little too much to do.
Attempting that overload once again there. South Melbourne on the flank, just trying to outnumber and just trying to commit men forward to try and put as much pressure on Dynamo there. Payos has been very clever at that as well, getting in between the lines and some good overlap run and play off his side. Dynamo just need a bit more urgency on the ball. I think they're too easy to defend against at the moment. South just know, I think, where they're going to go. They're going to play across the defence. Rico Bene and Gurgic are going to combine and try to play through Nazari. It is predictable. They need to go a bit quicker. They need to go forward and quicker. And this is where South are just picking them off every single time.
Nazari again giving the ball away. He's won it back, though, on this occasion. Goes all the way back to Bullich. Ricochets out of play. The way things are going, they will do well to not ship a third goal before half-time here, Dynamo. It's a bit of a damage limitation effort now. South are really in the mood after that rocky start. They have certainly found their groove here. Mikula with the throw. You'll need a particularly long effort here. And it lands on the bounce to Halfpenny. It's no problem for Bullich to deal with, who then crashes into the back of Sawyer somewhat theatrically. Not many options further afield here for Dynamo, and some frustration building on the bench and amongst the crowd. Payos in midfield. Nazari right below us. Summerskill, equal leading scorer for Dynamo this season. Only 3 goals though. Even Razumic is their other equal leading scorer with 3, but he's on the bench today and might be an option to come on at half-time or sometime in the second 45. As Dynamo have a rare 4-a forward into the final third here. It's going to be hot order with the throw. Now they'd love to find an equaliser in the shadows of half-time. Hodor sends it in. Diven the target. Now Bakor there. South not clearing their lines just yet. Here is the goal scorer. Hodor, full-blooded challenge there to keep the pressure on. Mikula's gone down behind play. Dynamo don't care about that. They're going forward here. Sawyer back in defence. Bit of pressure here from the home side. They've been firmly on the back foot pretty much since the moment they scored that opening goal.
And played in South Territory, absolutely. This is probably the best move that they've had since the goal, and it's been repeat, it's been sustained here. Jerez cutting in now.
This is promising. Marshall and then Payos sends it out of play. It'll be a throw. Just fell on the wrong side of the flag to be a corner, so there's a throw up against the scoreboard, which shows the visitors South Melbourne 2 leading St Albans 1. Can Dynamo change that scoreboard before the break? Not with passes like that, they won't.
And just trying to work through that South defence there. You know, that's the thing. That's what they needed. They needed to see more of King. They needed to see connect with Jerez, Diven a little bit more, give their forwards a bit more of a chance. And that, if they could land an equaliser right before halftime, it's game right back on, it must be said.
Good interception there by Hodl, otherwise South were off to the races. Got to say, coming in though, I think probably most Dynamo supporters, if you told them they'd be 2-1 down going into half-time, they probably wouldn't be too upset with that scoreline, given the respective form of the two teams and the record that South have over St Albans, as we have another injury delay here. Been a few of those today. And despite South losing last week, their record against St Albans is a pretty imposing one. So the fact that Dynamo are still in this game, nearing the halfway point, is an achievement in itself, but Cameron Watson and Billy Selesky and the new coaching team will want a bit more than that. They're not out there for participation trophies.
Absolutely. They're going to want more than what they have, but at the same time, it is, like I said, I know South have the resources and the assets that Dynamo don't, but again, it is about mentality, and it's about your setup, and it is about your team, each player out there doing their job and, performing as a cohesive unit rather than a one-player-led type of gig. It's not that type of game, and it can't be that type of game for Dynamo, especially, given the match winners that South have in their ranks. Look to get back underway here after the lengthy injury.
It was Connor Halfpenny, the player who went down and got some treatment. Looks like he's going to continue. Players from both sides having a well-earned drink. South will momentarily be down to 10 men. Can Dynamo make the most of it? They've got the throw in their attacking third. Summerskill will take it. Max King for Dynamo, just inside the area. Summerskill in with the cross. And that was a tricky one. I think it was Jerez who got onto it in the end. Couldn't direct it quite towards goal. There's Payos, and eventually South are out. Good intervention there. Otherwise, Sawyer was maybe in on goal. Summerskill. Nazari. They've been a bit better in the last 5 or so minutes, Dynamo. They're finishing the half well. Good block by Hodor. One of a number of important interventions by Adam Hodor today. Been one of Dynamo's best so far.
Him and Monik, especially as the fullbacks this afternoon, they've had their hands full with Bernardo, Mikola especially. Hodor, again, quite an athletic player. He can cause trouble on the overlap too, so don't think he's a two-way player along with the best of them. But
Halfpenny back on the field. So spills out towards the grandstand side where Jerez has got it. Dynamo streaming forward. This is promising. Monik on the overlap. And that will be a goal kick, much to the chagrin of Joseph Monik. He thought he won his side a rare corner there. Free Noah Langarak deciding otherwise. And Harvey Lopez, who spent much of this half as a spectator, will take the goal kick.
And he did, of course, he did sustain that early blow, conceding the goal early on. A quality keeper as he is, though, he has had little to do after that.
Slips over as he takes that goal kick. It's been an issue for both keepers. Bullich has lost his footing at times today too. It is a bit muddy in parts of this ground, as it often is. Here's Summerskill, the Englishman. Fourth official readying the board to show the amount of stoppage time at the end of this half. It looks like it's going to be 5 minutes. We have had a few injury delays, so that's not a huge surprise. More than enough time for another goal for either side. And that is confirmed now. 5 minutes of stoppage time. Coming in behind is Payos. He lifts it across Mikola. Oh, Bernarda. Could it be a hat-trick? Bullich saves, and now it's blasted over the top by Lampard. Nahul Bernarda, millimetres away from a first-half hat-trick.
Keep going, Noel!
Oh, so close. Far too close for Dynamo comfort there. And I think that's where they're marking with them down a little bit let them down a little bit too much there. Payos was able just to ghost in, was able to find, to look for Mikkel at the back post, Bernardo at the back post. So again, not something you want to do this close to the halftime break. But they'll reload again here.
Rahul Bernard has already scored 2, which makes him the equal second top scorer in the competition, along with Amir Abdullah. So South, as it stands, have the top 2 scorers in the league. And Rahul Bernard very nearly scored a 9th, which would have made him outright second. He will fancy his chances of getting that hat-trick, though, the way this game is going, and we're still with another half to come. Bakor trying to hold the ball up for Dynamo. Sawyer, who's an expert in that himself, dropping a bit deeper.
Again, just trying to be that target man, of course, where you got Bernardo and Mikkel lurking down the wings, especially, and trying to launch one down the channel, maybe in their direction here to try and catch a Dynamo defense out of shape there. Such a selfless player, though, isn't he? Sawyer, as good as a goal scorer as he is, providing a focal point and being a captain as well. This has been an even bigger task for him this season, and he's, I think, excelling in both of those.
Bullich out to Monek, who's been busy on that far flank. Perez, he goes down, no foul, and Sawyer sees Bullich off his line. Bullich not the tallest of keepers, and he had to claw at that with his fingernails to keep it out. Harrison Sawyer saw the keeper off his line and very nearly scored a spectacular 3rd, and what would have been a 13th of the season for him. And here is Sawyer, who could maybe have a go again if he wants to. He's got Mikkola running past.
Come up! Hey, just crawl, it's okay. Just creep.
Cameron Watson preparing his first team talk as Dynamo coach. It'll be an interesting one. There's been plenty of positives, most notably in the first few seconds, but the game has kind of gone to, I suppose, to expectations after that.
Yeah, indeed. I think that has to have been the goal coming into this. Just try to keep it compact, try to get a look at these players for the first time in a competitive setting, and I think there's a bit to like. There's still a lot to work with. Of course, half the job being a new coach is getting the most of the resources that you do have, especially when you come in mid-season. But again,
here's Payos. Gergic there with the saving header. Another line-hearted performance by Michael Gergic at the heart of the Dynamo defence. He's had plenty of work to do, and he's got more here. In what might be the last stanza of play of the half, it's going to be another throw for Max Mikkola. Another difficult delivery to deal with for the Dynamo defence.
Emil! Outside the D! Mario, you!
Instructions there loud and clear from the south bench of what Agim Sherfovsky wanted from his midfield pairing. We'll see what happens here.
So it's Mikkola. Marshall's up there, Bernarda, Sawyer. And they scored a 3rd goal here right on half-time and put this game to bed. It's Mikkola. He gets it up there, and up goes Sawyer, and Bullich claws it out. Payos to keep the pressure on, and he wins a corner from the opposite side. Marko Bullich has had an up and down half, but he was right on song there to claw that header out and keep his side in it. Payos with the cross from the near side. Marshall up. Gergic, Marshall. Bit of ping pong between the two veteran defenders, and that's eventually out of play, and that is the end of a fascinating half of football here at Churchill Reserve. Dynamo shocking South Melbourne with a brilliant opener, with the opening whistle still ringing in their ears. Alan Jerez scored after 60 seconds, but from then on, normal service was resumed. South right on the front foot, putting huge pressure on the Dynamo defence, and eventually they cracked. It was Nahul Bernarda with a header from the just inside the 18-yard box about 10 minutes into the half that put South on level terms, and then it was the same man another 10 or so minutes later with another scrappy goal after a poor back pass by Zulfi Nazari that put the visitors in front. And that's where they stay after 45 minutes here at Churchill Reserve. It is Dynamo 1, South Melbourne 2. I can't hear Katie at all.
Yeah, so she's with the office. So I'm coming through.
Like I can't hear Katie.
Yeah, it's okay. How do you normally plug this in? Because I suspect that.
Is there any way to plug it in? That's all right. That's, like it's still. As long as it's coming through, it's just that, yeah, when you can't hear it, they can.
Yeah, it's obviously harder.
I can still hear it. And that's why I tried halfway through. I try to switch over so I might do that, and then I can have this one off, and then I can hear. But yeah, so I might. No, that's all right. That's all right. That's fine like that, I think. Yeah. Depending, like, say, an 8:30 or something.
back us up? Why you not back us up? Come on, boys, get involved.
Nicky, bring the full ones.
Welcome back to Churchill Reserve here in St Albans, where all is in readiness for the second half between the visitors South Melbourne and the home side Dynamo St Albans. It is South Melbourne who are currently the league leaders, or as the current score stands, they will be league leaders again. They lead by 2-1 over Dynamo, who shocked them with an early goal. But South responded with 2 goals from Nahul Bernardo to take the lead, and they're on the front foot here early as Payos stings the palms of Bullich. They're complaining for a penalty, the South players and the coaching staff. Noah Langerak having none of it. And just as the start of the game was an electric one, the start of the second half, Katie Lambeski is also pretty action-packed.
Absolutely, begin again, and right from the start, South are just looking to maintain a real momentum here and to just a real go for the jugular here, searching for an early goal in this half. Looks like there was a change too for Dynamo as well, with Ivan Razumic replacing Adam Hodor, who'll be at fullback. We'll see how that plays out, but Dynamo looking to rebuild here.
Kate Lucas and Katie Lambeski with you on YouTube TV. South in all white, going to the right of your screen in this second half. Dynamo in blue, going towards the left. And it's Brian Summerskill with an early ball forward here for the home side. Nothing doing. As I mentioned, South were equal on points with Heidelberg and Avondale coming into this game, but had a game in hand, so as things stand, they are going back to the top of the NPL Victoria standings. Dynamo currently second last on 7 points, ahead of Moreland City, who got their first win of the season yesterday, as Dynamo come forward here. Back in defence there was Inglesi for South, so it looks like they've made a change as well. Lucas Inglesi has come in defence, and I'm not sure who has come off. Cooper Halfpenny did cop a knock late in the first half and looked a bit groggy, but he's still out there. And here's Payos. And he's taken down by Zelfi Nazari is not very happy with the referee. Emil Payos has really flickered today for South. He's been a real thorn in the side of Dynamo, and he's won them a free kick here.
It doesn't happen otherwise. He's there by himself.
That was important. That was important there for South. Just really got it really in an important position there. Did Payos. Again, just Dynamo just need to keep strong here early on and just not give in to this early pressure. Barcia to stand over this one. Might have been Evans, who has been replaced by Inglese, but we'll keep an eye on that and try to confirm that momentarily.
Inglese's up there waiting for the delivery. It's not a great one on this occasion by Barcia. And now Dynamo will try and break through Jerez, the goal scorer for the home side. They can't get anything happening here though. Cameron Watson's men. Lampard down the channel, and Bullich comes out to meet it and judges it well. Both Painter Andrews and Sawyer were tracking it for South. Summer skill. Morgan Evans below us, so it looks like he's stayed out there.
Jimmy! Just turn out and start again, man! Joey!
Cooper halfpenny almost heads it into our broadcast position here on the Fox Street side of Churchill Reserve. Shadows creeping across the ground now as the afternoon sun fades. It's been a beautiful afternoon for football here. And the crowd have been treated to a very energetic and, on occasion, spectacular contest. Certainly at its moments. Here's Bullich. Had a lot of work to do for Dynamo. And there's been an infringement behind play here. And it's a yellow card, the first of the afternoon, and it's going the way of Emil Payos. And the Dynamo crowd letting him know all about it. It's been a fractious encounter at times, Katie.
Absolutely. Noel Langerak not going to the book too often at all, it must be said, until that point. So, again, trying to let the game flow as much as possible, but you got to call it as you see it. I think he did exactly that there. And just sharing it across the back four. Dynamo just not really making any headway here. And as a result, just allowing South to absorb any of it and just able to regain possession quite easily in that instance there. They're just holding on to their structure. Just need to move the ball with a little bit more quicker. Have someone presenting, particularly through midfield, as often as possible and just trying to get a link up. They need to up the pace here.
It's Lampard with the throw. Just looking at the lineup, it looks like Max Mikula might be the player who has made way, which is an interesting change. He did cop a few knocks in the first half as Sawyer sends a ball way across the face of goal. Jack Painter Andrews tried to get there in time, but that was never happening. So that's an interesting change. Max Mikula for Lucas Inglese.
Again, Mikula, I think, seems to have succumbed to some of those repeat knocks he sustained in the first half, and he's such a skilled player, and that in turn attracts a lot of attention from defenders, and not any of it good. I think that's caused just a little bit more difficulty there as Barcia sees him off the line.
He goes down, and Bullich again is saved at the last. Very nearly caught out there, but for the second time today, Marco Bullich just got a fingertip to it, and it's out for a corner. South going for the jugular here.
You know that. Come on, Cam. You don't need that.
Coming from the back.
It's not getting that one.
Marco Bullich is not a big keeper, and on a number of occasions South have tried to expose that by chipping in from long range. Harrison Sawyer in the first half, and Very nearly there at the start of the second half as Sawyer is denied by Bullish this time. Well, the man in yellow is keeping his team in it at the moment. That was a terrific close-range save from the South marksman.
Absolutely, as well as a reflex save there from Bullich, well up to the task there. A bullet header coming there from Sawyer, as he so often can do for his side. He'll look to present again from this repeat set piece. South continuing to press here.
Payos. And it's headed back across. Sawyer is there. The ball's in the back of the net. The whistle had gone. Dynamo hang on yet again, but boy oh boy do they look vulnerable at those set pieces. They're going to be worked out many more times for the rest of this game, you'd think, from corners and throws. Bullich. Lampard up. Nazari. Monek goes to ground, anticipating a free kick, and he wins one, the veteran, and he moves it on quickly to Jerez on the near side. And now it's the softer shoot who stings the palms of Harvey Lopez. Even Razumic nearly with a belter of a second.
You want impact. You want impact there, and that's the case. Razumic, and that's probably the best as Dinamo have looked this afternoon. Just a great overlap there from Razumic. Good attacking instincts. Takes the shot on. That's the dare. That's the approach they're going to need to take to this game for this second half.
He caught that sweetly, Razumic. And Harvey Lopez did ever so well to deflect it clear, and the Dynamo fans near us have found their voice again. They're still very much in this game. Might be pretty lopsided in general play, but scoreline suggests Dynamo are giving South a much tougher workout than most would have expected. Here come the visitors though again. Bullich called into action once more.
It's continuing to be very helter-skelter type of game here. I think the more that happens, the more it's going to be beneficial for South, as Summerskill and Jerez look to combine there.
Jerez goes to ground below us and then slaps the turf in disappointment, even though his team get the foul. Dynamo chant rings around Churchill Reserve once again. And since their team are right in this game, repeating they have never taken a point off South Melbourne in their 7 meetings in the NPL era since 2017. Played 7, lost 7, Dynamo. Here's Summerskill. All the way back to Bullich. Halfpenny. Towards Payos, who just controlled it, then helped it towards Bernarda. He nearly got Bernarda where no man wants to be hit. That was very nearly a bit of friendly fire there. Bernarda is okay though. Neil Payos once again. Looks like he's got the ball in a string at times.
Absolutely. Right up there is one of the players on the ground. He might well feature in the team of the week at the rate he's going here. Dynamo hanging tough here though.
Bit more movement on the Dynamo bench below us. They're going to make another change. Carter Ramsey looks like he's going to enter the fray.
And it looks as if it's going to be King to make way. Max King making way, so just some fresh legs and attacking impetus up top there for Dynamo. Proactive change here from Cam Watson.
So Max King goes off in front of the club rooms on the far side, and Carter Ramsey, who's got 1 goal this season, comes on. So that's 2 changes now for Dynamo. South Melbourne have made 1. And they've got a long throw here. Plenty of white shirts in the box. Sawyer among them. McCaw back in defence. And now a long-range shot. Marco Bullich saw it all the way, though. It was Painter Andrews who had a crack. Summer skill. Gooch. Diven. Lampard beats him to it and sends the ball to no one in particular. Now having a bit more of the ball in this second half, Dynamo. Whatever Cam Watson has told them at half-time has had an effect. As there's a bit of movement on the south bench now. Esteban Quintas is going to put some fresh legs into the action.
Andy Brennan and George Chitsinaris just getting final instructions there from the boss. We'll confirm who they will replace in a moment.
Andy Brennan, another big tall player. In South, even more of a physical presence out there. Not quite men against boys, but there is a noticeable physique difference between the two sides. South by far the taller team. Andy Brennan's only going to add to that as they go. Well, they're in defence here rather. Harvey Lopez comes out to meet it. Keeper resplendent in red this afternoon. Hasn't had a lot to do, but when he has been called upon, he's been up to the task, apart from being caught out by that opening goal, which was a great finish by Jerez. I'm not sure the keeper could have done much more with that. Here's his opposite number, Bullich, who's been far busier, and he's given it away here. That's sloppy, and now Payos. Couldn't quite get full purchase on the shot.
Still in with the pulse here, Dynamo. I think they're still in this contest. It's just a matter of not blazing away and try to stay patient and try to look for chances. At the same time, they have to be a bit more brave in possession if they're going to try and make that happen. Again, just dropping in between their defence is not going to allow them to be making inroads into this scoreboard that they need to make. Summer skill, good connection there. That's a much better move forming now.
Bacola, in front of the grandstand. Carter Ramsey has just come on his first touch of the football. Nazari. Zelfi Nazari trying to find Razumic down the flank, didn't quite come to him. Ricabene. And that's flicked on by Ramsey, and Monek's in behind here until he's not. The flag belatedly goes up. The veteran Monek, his eyes lit up there for a moment. He got the flick on from Ramsey. But the linesman's flag went up, and that will signal the entry of two more South Melbourne substitutes. As Kate mentioned earlier, Andy Brennan and George Sitsamaris coming on. And it's Jack Painter-Andrews and Emil Payos coming off.
Joey, pick up
Payos, one of the best players on the pitch, but he has an early shower. Jack Painter-Andrews hasn't had quite the impact today that we know he can. And Brennan straight into the thick of the action here as Grigic gets the ball away from him. Now it's Bacola, rides a challenge. Doesn't ride the second one and looks at the referee expecting a foul.
And it was too, I think. I got away with that one, did Jordan Lampard. Cynical at the absolute worst, you'd have to say, but it rides his luck just a little bit and South will get the chance to reassess.
Cameron Watson asking the fourth referee how that wasn't a foul. Adding a few other words in there which we can't repeat for dramatic effect. Play goes on. Sitsamaris has just come on. Acres of space, didn't quite get there in time. Now it's Monek. Jerez. Shut down emphatically by Morgan Evans.
Monek, as per usual, can be a really direct attacking player as well. He hasn't had the chance to really show that off today, but just really good to read the play, try to connect with Jerez there. Need more of that. They haven't had the chance to do that nearly enough.
Clearance by Halfpenny, almost coming on top of the commentary booth again. It's almost like he's been aiming for us today, Cooper Halfpenny. Meanwhile, down in the far corner, Bernarda, who's still on a hat-trick. Again, Noah Langerak letting a rugged challenge go. Nazari. Game very stretched at the moment, very scrappy. South certainly not exerting the sort of control they had in the first half. And Jerez could expose them here on the edge of the area. He has a ping, and it's deflected wide from the goal scorer and out for a Dynamo corner, which by my reckoning might be the first they've had all day, or one of very few. They've had a few throws in the attacking third, but I'm not sure they've had a corner. They do now.
Absolutely, just a reward for persistence there, Jerez, absolutely. Making something happen, just being creative and trying to latch on to that ball. They'll get a corner as a result here.
Taken right in front of the Dynamo Ultras, who are serenading their team. They're certainly appreciating this extra effort after half-time. They go short here. It's Summerskill. Summerskill goes back to Monek, but the flag is up. Fair to say they didn't make the most of that opportunity, the home side.
And this is why, in my rule book, no short corners allowed. That's exactly what you need to get the ball in the danger zone. You need to try and keep it simple as possible. At the absolute most, beat the first man at the post. That has to be the case there, but that's a missed chance. Given the good work that they put in to make that happen there, Dynamo. They have to reload here, though, and keep themselves present in the game and just keep that focus. South doing exactly that on their end.
As we mentioned, they're not a big side, Dynamo, so maybe that was in the thinking there. But the short corner didn't work. They've got it on the floor here, and they're coming forward again through Bakor, back towards Ramsey, Carter Ramsey. South back in numbers. This is a much tougher afternoon for them than many would have expected. Even if they are still on course for the 3 points, having to work much harder for it than has often been the case against Dynamo. South, incidentally, had one of their biggest ever wins in the NPL against Dynamo. In just their second ever meeting, that was an 8-1 win back in 2017. Unlikely we'll be seeing that sort of scoreline here today. 2-1 it is so far as we approach the last half an hour of this game. Cade Lucas, Katie Lambeski with you here at Churchill Reserve on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Final match of round 13 of NPL Victoria. Still all to play for. Here's Brennan bustling forward and now being brought down by Summerskill. And Noah Langerak reaches into his pocket and gives Summerskill a yellow card as tempers approach boiling point again here.
Yeah, Summerskill with little alternative there to try and knock Brennan right down to try and prevent him from getting through on goal there. Brennan's such a direct bullet type of player. That's why I think he's been brought on to add the fresh legs and to be direct in this case. And that forces Summerskill into the challenge. Will receive a yellow for his troubles, but again could have saved an almost certain goal there. Does the Englishman.
He has conceded a free kick though. Which might be the first of the day as well. Hasn't been many of those today. Certainly not from this sort of range. Looks like it's a 5-man wall for Dynamo. It's dead in front. And it's Brennan, the man who won the free kick, is going to take it. I think he'll be going for goal here. It is Brennan. Straight into the wall. Thud of leather on leather. Reverberates around Churchill Reserve. There's Summerskill, who got the yellow card, now heads the ball away. More changes being made by Dynamo below us. Samaras, who's just come on, playing the 1-2, and now he hares down the touchline and will get there just in time. And it's a great ball in, and Sawyer can't quite score. Bullich again denies him. Just hasn't been his day so far, the league's leading scorer. Gabene. Summerskill. That's a sloppy pass, and South turn the ball over high up. Brennan has Evans in support. He goes himself. Brennan, it's across the face of goal. Sitsamaris there. Sawyer! Oh, that's the sort of chance he normally buries.
That's usually his breakfast and his lunch and his dinner right there, but he misses almost a roll goal chance there. But Brennan and Cisneros, that impact has to be so pleasing, especially for Esteban Quintas. That's the impact you want your subs to be having, and just bringing on a new dimension to the attack there. But they're close, going very close. Dynamo dangerously living once again, but they're still well in this contest.
Yet to be able to get that third goal to really give them a cushion, give them some comfort, South. This game's still uncomfortably close for them.
It'll be Joseph Trolina to enter this game very quickly for next stoppage, you would have to think. Again, just some final instructions there from the coaches, and we'll confirm who's replacing in just a moment.
Summerskill. Bakor. Mazzari. Having a lot more possession in this half, Dynamo. Divin. Speaking of which, they've lost possession. Lampard wins it back, the former Green Gully player, up against his former neighbours. Divin recovered well to send it out of play. It will be a throw in front of the club rooms. The Dynamo faithful will be believing it'd be a historic result for them if they could snag a point, maybe even all three if they could really turn it on. It's South who've got it at the right end of the pitch for them though. It's Lampard. Gergic knocks it away. Inglesi. He had his shirt tugged. Noah Langerak must have had his vision blocked. He lets play go on. Sawyer again. Bullich again denies him, and it's taken off the line. Harrison Sawyer must be wondering what he's got to do to find the back of the net today.
Not for lack of trying, that's for absolute certain. He's been all action, all involved in this game indeed, but that end product has not been there. Surely if he keeps presenting, one will happen before this final whistle blows all said and done, but again, we might be left to rue that one. We'll see how it goes. Confirmation of that change as well, Cade.
Yes, Joseph Kalina coming on. Josh Divin coming off. So, home side have one more change up their sleeve. South, I think, have got two more changes. So we're into the final stages here. Stay with us. All results still a possibility as Sawyer goes searching for that goal. He hustles to the byline, but can't win the corner. It's a goal kick to his nemesis, Marko Bullich. He's had his ups and downs today, Bullich, but he's certainly come up with some huge saves to keep his side in it. Many of them from the league's leading goal scorer, Harrison Sawyer. Summerskill. Kalina, who's just come on. Summerskill just treads water a bit. Back to Nazari. There he is, back to Summerskill. This is nice. gone in the book. It's Morgan Evans who has his name taken, and Dynamo have got a free kick in very promising territory.
Brilliant. And just trying to get on the end of that, but received a foul for his troubles. A rolled gold foul, it must be said, but Evans having to force the issue there, otherwise Jerez is clean through on goal. And as a result, a dangerous free kick here. Some skill to take, I think.
Well, they've had to defend a lot of set pieces in this game. They haven't had many to take of their own, Dynamo, just the one corner, and this is now their first free kick. But it's in a great position. South wall is inside the area. 5-man wall. Brian Summerskill will try and get it up and over and into Harvey Lopez's goal. It's Summerskill, and it's just past the upright. Harvey Lopez was sprawling, but the Englishman couldn't quite get his radar correct. He hit it well enough.
He went low looking for that bottom right, and Lopez is not happy with the wall as a result of that too. Oh, so close there for the home side, but that's been the story, hasn't it? Not quite there. Not quite there. It's 15 minutes remaining of normal time. Just over 15 minutes of normal time, it must be said. But again, I can't help but think that there's another sting left in this tail. We shall see. South are going to have to be on point. They're going to have to be focused to win this game as Brennan looks to move here.
There's a Dynamo player down as Brennan was off and away for South, but Noah Langerak belatedly brings play back. And once again, the physios come out. They've had their work cut out today too, physios for both teams. It's been a pretty physically taxing game. I think it might be Zulfi Nazari, the Afghan international, who's come off second best in that challenge. Dynamo, I think, have one more sub up their sleeve if they need to make one here. As Kate mentioned, it's going to be a very tense last quarter of an hour. And you can bet that teams right across the league at either end of the table will be keeping a close eye on the finish here. Could South drop some crucial points? Could Dynamo get some crucial points of their own? Or will things stay the same and South go back to the top?
In the delay, when we're doing delay, don't keep dropping. Don't keep dropping.
All options are open here as Nazari is back up on his feet. Fortunately, rubbing his head, he's going to come off and get a bit more treatment. And Dynamo momentarily will be down to 10.
He's been probably the most creative outlet I think that they've had this afternoon, Nazari, and I think it'll be a loss if he is out of this game, but he looks to be okay. Not everything he's tried has come off, mind you, but that's, I think, has to be par for the course. He's just been really good in the way he's presented through the middle of the park.
Well, it was his poor back pass that led to South's second goal, but he has had plenty of good to go with that bad as well. As we're back underway, and Nazari's back on the field, and Harrison Sawyer's almost thrown into the change rooms there.
Get up, get over, get up.
Him and Michael Gergich have given each other a real workout this afternoon, and it was the South forward who almost ended up in the players' race on that occasion. Here's Razumic. Keeps that one out from going for a corner. Shadows creeping across Churchill Reserve now.
That's all. That's all. If it's not, you get away, get away.
Lampard into the area. Nazari just hoofs it away. Ramsey does well to win it back for Dynamo, only momentarily. And now it's Lampard who will send in a cross again. It's high, and it will sit up for Brennan. Monek does well to intercept And see it out of play on the near side
Scotty
now.
over! Scotty! Scotty!
Exactly where South want it now. Just some of the repeat high balls, repeat air attacks here. They're going to try and keep this locked in. I think that has to be the key for them. Try to stay high up the pitch and try to make Dynamo work forward as Monek tries to do that there.
Dynamo trying to go on the break here, but Core goes to ground though, and the move breaks down. And Sitsinaris is offside. Tension building here. A lot at stake for both teams. Both in terms of the table and in terms of history too, particularly for Dynamo. Ball down the channel here by Summerskill. Marshall there. Now it's hooked forward and Sawyer's on his bike. Bullich there ahead of him and it deflects out of play. And it's a Dynamo ball. Nazari, first touch just let him down. And here comes South through Brennan. Now it's Sawyer. Barcia. They're loading up for one final foray here. South, it's a good ball in. Brennan, 3-1. They're going back to the top with a bullet, South Melbourne. Andy Brennan has scored the vital third goal and Dynamo's resistance has been broken. It is Dynamo 1, South Melbourne 3.
Don't they love it? Visiting fans on the hill opposite us as well react in kind, and they know what that means in the context of this season. Andy Brennan, a clutch player as he so often has proven to be for South, making it count. Absolutely not pretty, but certainly effective. That has been the MO for them today, and that's a clutch goal, and that will bring a big 3 points for the visitors.
Well, it hasn't been for want of trying. On another day, they might have put 4 or 5 in, but having been sucker punched right at the opening kickoff, South got right back on the front foot, scored 2 goals to get in front, and then have had to work very hard in this second half to really put away Dynamo, who have been very impressive, it must be said. You wouldn't know there is such a gulf between the two clubs on the table. They have really fought hard in this second half, but you feel their resistance has been broken now as Michael Gergic is down, and he looks in a bit of trouble as well. The St Albans captain. Slowly getting up. Harrison Sawyer there with him. Those two have got to know each other very well today. Been a great battle between them, and there's another player who's down with a bit of cramp. Looks like it's Barcia who's going to get some treatment, as Esteban Quintas goes to his bench for, I think, the final time, and Barcia is going to come off. And it's Mahalo Marinkovic, who will come on for the last 5 or so minutes.
10 minutes of normal time remaining, just to confirm as well. But Mihailo Marinkovic, of course, a South youth product too, so that having a bit more fresh impetus. Of course, they've been affected by injury and suspension. Of course, no Archibald and no Jankovic, so provides an opportunity as well for youth to come through the ranks. But again, South have just continued to be as professional and ruthless as possible, haven't they? Just well drilled, determined. And this is the result. That's they needed to get back. They needed to get back just after that, sustaining that big loss to Avondale last week, and they've come out and refocused today. And this is why they'll walk away with a big 3 points this afternoon. And it's not for lack of trying by Dynamo. You're absolutely right in that. Again, can they find one more rallying effort? But I somehow doubt it. South look to squeeze their way back, squeeze this way home. But we'll see what happens.
Sawyer. Down the channel finds Sitsinaris, who's been very busy since coming on. He might go himself here. Blue shirts in front of him. Ricochets back to Sawyer. Now Brennan, the goal scorer for South. Scored their third. Sends a cross in, maybe for a fourth. Bullich beats it away. They're trying to finish with a flourish here, South Melbourne. Trying to make the scoreline look a bit more like maybe it was expected to be before this game started. The last meeting between these two sides at the back end of last season was a 4-0 win for South Melbourne. That was at Lakeside. Last time they met here, it was much closer, only a 1-0 win for South Melbourne on that occasion. March 26th last season. Max Mikula scoring in both those games. Came off at half-time here today, but his throw led to one of their opening 2 goals. Could they score a 4th here? They've got a corner. Monik heads it away, and we'll do it all again.
Smart. Once again, you can't fault the game management. Brendan just taking every minute and every second available off the clock for him now. It's just increasingly smart and aware game management, as so often South are able to do.
Brendan once more. His heels in the dugout almost, or in the race. He lifts in the cross. It's flicked on by Halfpenny and out of play. So next week the OG Derby is on again. South Melbourne go to Summer Street to take on the Knights. Of course, they kicked off the season, so this week means everyone has played each other. Knights, of course, now with Ivan Franjic in charge. Here's Sawyer on the turn. He scored a goal against Knights that won them the game on that opening night. He hasn't scored yet today.
Keep going, come on.
Whilst for Dynamo, they're back here at Churchill Reserve next week against Port Melbourne Sharks.
Play! Let's go!
Blatant foul there by Brendan. Gergic recovered from that earlier knock. Razumic just giving them a bit of potency down the flanks since coming on at half-time or early in the second half, even Razumic. Can they get a late goal to make this interesting, Dynamo? Perez. Seems like an age ago since he scored that opening goal. Actually one of the fastest goals of the season, certainly the fastest I've witnessed this season.
Just had more time on his hands, I think, than he realised. There's some skill, had more of a time to control the ball down and to find a teammate or take the shot. But that's when, again, near enough but not quite good enough for Dynamo. Lampard just is able to force that clear and win the goal kick again.
Been a very good addition to the South Melbourne side, Jordan Lampard, coming across from Green Gully.
Absolute gun.
Just as he was for the Cavaliers, and ever present in the fullback positions. So the last change for South Melbourne being made. And it's no hat-trick today for Nahul Bernarda. The Argentine striker's coming off, but his job very much done. 2 first-half goals, 1 in the 8th minute to get them level after conceding that early goal, and then a second right on the half-hour mark to put them in front, where they have stayed. 8 goals for the season for Nahul Bernarda. He's equal second in the charts. The man who is at the top of the charts, Harrison Sawyer, just involved in another incident here below us. Kalina gets up rubbing his head. And the physio once again is coming on. They've probably done more running today than some players. Zach Spiteri was the player who replaced Nahul Bernarda, as Kalina Looks as though he's going to have to come off. He's got some claret coming from the head. Hasn't been on for too long, Joseph Kalina. He was
It's a
second half
nasty,
substitute.
nasty looking cut above the head as well. Good gracious, that was, again, a bit of fire, as you so often see at this level, but hopefully he's okay and rejoin the fray pretty quick.
Well,
But
looks like Dynamo might be about to make another change to bring Kalina off, so it'll be a very short afternoon of work for Joseph Kalina by the looks of things. Luckily, Dynamo do have one more change, so they're not going to be down to 10 men.
it might be Jacob Savrain to come onto the ground soon. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Not too long to go, though. Gurgic. Again, they turn it over, and this could be costly. It's Sawyer running at the defence. Sitsinaris out wide. Comes to Sitsinaris, and he makes it 4. Oh, that is some finish. The angle was tight, but you wouldn't have known it. He has lashed that in, and South putting the finishing touches on an emphatic win now. It is Dynamo 1, South Melbourne 4.
That's a first senior league goal as well for Tsitsinaris. Wonderful strike as well to make it happen and to seal to add further icing to the cake here for South Melbourne. That has to be the pick of the goals. And what a way to do it. What a way to make your name here at this level. Well played, taking the opportunity. We know South had some injuries coming into this, and he makes the opportunity count on the other side of that. So that's a brilliant way to end a real competitive contest this afternoon. The score line may not fully allude to that, but rest assured South have had to work today and they've had to put the work in, and that is the result. You get the goals like that. Well played.
Well, both he and Andy Brennan came on together as second half substitutes. Boy, have they had an impact. Both have scored to turn what was a very closely fought, tight and tough 2-1 scoreline into being a pretty emphatic 4-1 scoreline in favour of South, and it might be about to grow again. Sawyer over towards Halfpenny. And another tester for Bullich, who's clattered into. Now Brennan has put the ball in the net, but the whistle is blown. And Bullich and Sawyer having stern words for one another. Bullich is incensed with that challenge from the South striker. Noah Langerak really almost blowing the pee out of the whistle there to try and control things. And it's a yellow for Harrison Sawyer.
Yeah, had to be. It was absolutely a foul against Sawyer there, and it was quite a heavy one at that. Bullich, of course, sturdy in his own right, but Sawyer, geez, that wouldn't tickle. And that's the result you get. You get the foul there. Wasn't making a real attempt to play the ball. I don't think he was just trying to make contact and trying to hope for the best there, and Bullich gets the worst of it.
I understand if Harrison Sawyer's a bit frustrated with Marco Bullich today because he's denied him from what on another day could easily have been a hat-trick. He's made some key saves today, Dynamo keeper. Harrison Sawyer let his frustration get the better of him on that occasion. As Brennan goes over, referee says play on. Dynamo do. Have they got another goal in them? They deserve to make the scoreline a bit closer. They have been better than the 4-1 scoreline would suggest. Here's Jerez. Nazari. Gurgic, the skipper, goes from downtown, but it was always rising. Ground almost completely covered in shadows here. The floodlights haven't come on. They might need to pretty soon, depending on how much stoppage time we have. The 90 minutes are almost up.
Into stoppage time now.
We're into stoppage time. Thank you, Katie. Don't have the advantage of a clock here in the commentary booth, so we are sort of guessing, but We are in stoppage time. Final whistle isn't far away. South Melbourne have come from behind. And they are set to go to the top of the table again. Have Dynamo got another goal in them, though, just to gain a bit more respect. Cameron Watson will have seen plenty of green shoots in his first match in charge, as Ramsey tries to chip the keeper, is a bit ambitious. And Harvey Lopez is happy to see it float over the top.
Unfortunately for Dynamo, it just doesn't look like they have the qualities to sustain the level of effort that they put in, right? It's enough to work and work and work, but at the same time you need that level of skill in this competition, and how quick the skill has risen and the difference between the top and the bottom now. Hopefully for Dynamo they can look toward a mid-season transfer window, bring in some more targets to complement what they do have, and to match, I guess, the new style of the new coaches that they brought in. But again, it might be a long way back for them.
They don't want to concede any more goals today. Last thing they want to do is go into next week's game having shipped 5, especially after, as Kate mentioned, the effort they've put in today. They have worked their socks off. Summerskill. And that one almost takes out our cameraman right next to me. Gergic. Nothing doing on that occasion. And that brings to an end an entertaining afternoon of football here at Churchill Reserve. But in the end, normal service has been resumed. Dynamo got off to a shock start with Alan Jerez putting them in front after a matter of seconds. But from then on, South Melbourne reasserted their dominance, scoring twice in the first half through Nahul Bernarda, and then after the break, the 2 substitutes, Brennan and Sitsanaris, scoring another 2. And in the end, it's an emphatic win, which puts South back on top, but that doesn't really tell the full story, Katie.
Correct. So, they've had to put in heavy work to make this happen, did South Melbourne, but again, just that level of professionalism wins out at the end of the day, and just that level of quality that they're able to possess. I mean, Sawyer, brilliant at leading the line, selfless, didn't always come off for him with his own shots, couldn't quite get that goal that he was so close to getting, but nevertheless they just persisted, and they had to find a way to respond after that opening goal, and they did exactly that. They were patient at times, they had to scrap at times, but their muscle was just ended up being too much for Dynamo this afternoon. Dynamo brought the effort, no two ways about it, and I think what's the new coaches, of course, in Cam Watson and Billy Selesky, can take a lot from this, but again, they just need to add more quality. They need to look to play a bit more quicker on the ball. They need to add just a little bit more to their effort to make sure they can stay in this league for next season. But a tense, close contest, and it's been absolutely fun bringing it with you today.
Thank you, Katie. Great to be with you. Great to be with you watching at home on YouTube. The effort of both sides being warmly applauded here by both sets of fans, and both teams have differing objectives with the second half of the season to come. South are on top, Dynamo still second last, but they will have some hope from today's performance, even if they do go away defeated. The final score here at Churchill Reserve, it's finished. Dynamo 1, South Melbourne 4.